All right, welcome back to another football video. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the creator of Advanced Stats Football, on-base baseball, up-tempo basketball. So starting to get a few games under my belt here. And I was sitting around, I was thinking about, how could I make like a super ultra light fast play football game? And so I thought, well, let's use the cards and we'll see how it goes. I wanted to originally do sort of a press your luck kind of game where you keep flipping and it keeps building and building and there's the opportunity for failure. So I started doing that and wasn't able to kind of get very far very quickly. So what I did think about though was this little quick play concept that came out, ultra quick, really. So it's drive by drive, but each team gets 10 drives. I'm going to be playing 1988 Notre Dame at Miami. This is number 4 against number 1. And I've got 3 aces in here, and I've got 1 king. The king is a turnover. The aces are punts, or sort of a drive ending card. And playing with 2d10 dice and 1d6. These will come in the kicking game. So to punt, use a d6 and a d10. And this would be like a 12-yard punt, or this would be a 22-yard punt. On the field goals, 1 to 80 is a make, and 81 to 100 is a miss. On the every kick, so when there's a kickoff, which I'll demonstrate now, if it's a 0-0 on my dice, 100, then that's going to be a return for a touchdown. On a punt return, same thing, 0-0 or 10-10, whatever your dice are. That would be a return for a touchdown. Everybody just starts off at the 25. On a kickoff, if there's a touchback on the punt, you start at the 20, and then there's no return yardage or anything like that. And then basically we're just flipping until we hit one of those face cards, and then we have to decide what to do. So kickoff, I already rolled. Notre Dame won, deferred to the second half, so Miami's going to get the ball first. This is a 48, so no return on the play. I shuffle the cards twice for each drive, and then we see how it goes. They have 75 yards to go for a touchdown. So there's 3, 5, and they get 5 yards before they're stopped. So to the 30, got our first punt of the game. That's going to be a 61-yard punt, so a boomer. Punt for 61, and that means Notre Dame is going to take over on their first drive. So each team gets 10 drives, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 1 is down to the 9-yard line. So let's see if there's a return. Ooh, so close, but no return for touchdown. So this is where Notre Dame's going to start, deep in their own territory, although they did get a stop there. And basically we're just playing, every team gets 10 possessions, and whoever is ahead after 10 possessions is going to win the game. You can only kick a field goal if you're inside the 30, so sort of put that restriction on things. Let's see, Notre Dame has 91 yards to go for a touchdown. 10, 15, 17, 25, 28, and a turnover. So big play in the game. Way we do this, turnover is 10, 20, 30, so 28. So down to the 37, and there's a turnover, and so Miami's going to take over right there at the 37. So they only have 37 yards to go for their second drive. We are going to shuffle these a couple times, and maybe see something that's not very good flow, or maybe it'd be really cool if you could just do something like this, or I've already considered, different types of turnovers, interceptions, and oh, that's not good. My king is marked. Okay, let's put one that's not marked in here. And we'll slide them in there somewhere. So, okay, Miami, second possession. They only have to go 37 yards. So let's see if they can do it. 8, 13, 20, 26, 28, and 37. So right on it. and Miami scores the first TD of the game. So 37 yards, that's a touchdown. Miami is up 7-0. Back to Notre Dame. See if there's a return. No return for touchdown, although they had a couple of those. The Rocket, Rahib Ishmael, played for them in '88. Ricky Waters, too. I was looking through their roster, and I remember watching those guys play whenever I was pretty young, and I had to be, 10 at the time. So I remember that Lou Holtz team. And this is the '88 roster for Miami with Michael Irvin, et cetera, on their team. So Jimmy Johnson. This is Jimmy Johnson versus Lou Holtz. Okay, no return on the kickoff. Notre Dame has the ball for their second possession. They have turned it over in their first possession, and Miami capitalized with the score. So this is going to be 75 to go for a touchdown. 2, 8, 15, 23, 33, 39, 44, 53, 56, 60. So getting close. 66, 68. Only 7 yards left. 71. Oh, they almost get there. So 71 yards they go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 71. They're down to the 4-yard line. So they're going to kick a field goal. They get stopped. And that is a 69. So that's going to be a good field goal. And 7-3 is our score. So you can see they were right there. And then they got stopped. So I don't know. I think it's fun. Oh, almost another run back there on the kickoff, but not quite. So it's going to be Miami ball at their own 25. They have 75 yards to go for a TD and less than that for a field goal. So let's see. Miami, their third possession. Let's see what happens here. 10, 12, 21, 28, 35, 39, 47, 57, and a stop. So 57-yard drive, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's 60 minus 1, 2, 3, down to the 18. Got a field goal try here for Miami. That's a 39, and that's going to be a good field goal. So good game here, 10-3. And basically we are moving into the end. I guess it's the beginning of the second quarter. I guess if you have to think about it that way. 10 possessions, I think, is right. Maybe it's better to do 9. I'm not sure. Or 8. 8 possessions. Not sure what the best one would be. Okay. So starting at the 25. Let's see. It's a kickoff after a field goal, right? So no return for a touchdown. Got 75 yards to go. 10. And then they get stopped. So tough day for Notre Dame as they're going to get a punt. They're down 10-3, and the punt is here. That's going to be a 45-yard punt, so a good kick, though. And we had 10, right? So they went 10, and then 10, 20, 30, 40, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, puts it down to the 20. Is there a return for a touchdown? There is not. And so let's shuffle for Miami. Remember, Miami had like just a huge attitude, you know. They were a very differently coached team than Notre Dame, who was very buttoned up. Lou Holtz, very conservative and a buttoned up coach, and Jimmy Johnson, very loose and all over the place. And it was a real match of styles. So 80 yards to go. Both great football teams, though. 5, 13, 23, 31, 39, 42, 52, 57, 61, 63, and a stop. So 63 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 1, 2, 3 down to the 17. So another field goal try. This is an 84, so that's going to be a field goal miss. So our score remains 10-3, Miami over Notre Dame. And again, this is 1988. We're on our fourth drive of the game. And on a field goal miss, you just add 7 because that's where the holder was. And sort of play by normal rules. So 10, 9, 8, 7. So at the 24-yard line, Notre Dame takes over on their fourth drive of the game. Let's see if they can score. They got 74 yards, 76 yards to go. So let's see if they can score this time. 9, 16, 25, 33, 40, 50. And they're stopped. So 50 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. They're inside of field goal range because they're inside the 30. And they're going to go for the field goal. Let's see. 1 to 80, it's good. 71. So the field goal is good, and that makes it 6. Sorry. So field goal from Notre Dame brings them within 4, and 10-6 is our score. Going to get a kickoff to Miami. So just move them here. And is there a run back? Oh, very close again. A 0 and a 2. A 0 and a 0 on my dice is, I'm counting as the 100. So Miami takes over at their own 25, 75 yards to go for a TD. Miami ahead 10-6. Let's see if they can add to the lead. 5, 7, 13, 16, 26, 34, and a stop. So 34 yards, 10, 20, 30, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So down to the 41. Going to get a punt here. So remember, our D6 and our D10 is our punting dice. That's a 32. So a good punt. Drives it down 10, 20, 30. 1, 2. Drives it down to the 9-yard line. Let's see if there's a return for a touchdown. And, almost. All right. That's very close. I'm waiting for my first touchdown. I think it's going to be glorious. That first time that the 0-0 rolls out. It's a 1 in 100 chance. And I'm just waiting for that moment. So, all right, Miami punts the ball down inside the 10. So Notre Dame takes over. This is their 5th drive. And so we're almost to halftime. This will be the one before the half. They have 91 yards to go for a TD. 10, 12, 22, 25, 33, 36, and a stop. So 36 yards on the drive, 10, 20, 30, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 45. Going to get a punt here. Actually, that's going to end. That's going to end the half, right? So we'll call that the half. So Notre Dame's going to get the ball back, but they could not score. So we sort of flipped things. So Miami began the game. Notre Dame is going to start the second half with the ball. We can even call this halftime. So 10-6 is our score at the half. We're going to start at the 25. Let's see if there is a run back. A 1 and a 1 is very close. And I'm hoping that I catch that moment on camera when I get my first TD score. So, see how things are going here. And hopefully we're still recording through the microphone. So that's 1 shuffle, 2 shuffles. Notre Dame starts their number 6 drive at the 25. They have 75 yards to go. 9. And then they get the stop. So good defense from Miami. Going to get a punt here. The punt is for 55 yards, so that's a nice punt. And 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus 5 is down to the 10. Is there a run back in Miami? Nope, no run back for the Hurricanes, and Miami will take over with their 6th possession. Let's see if they can add to the lead. 10-6 is their lead here at the start of the third quarter. Got a nice stop on Notre Dame. Again, this is Notre Dame, 1988, against the Miami Hurricanes of 88. So they've got to go, 90 yards. So 4, 12, and a turnover. So they get 12 yards and a turnover. So big play there. Huge play for, 12 yards. So 10, 11, 12. So down to the 22, and then there's a turnover. So just like Notre Dame had the turnover deep in their own territory, Miami makes a big mistake there. What was that? Maybe it's a Bernie Kosar pick. Not sure. There's a fumble. And this is going to be Notre Dame football on their 7th possession. And they have the ball at the 22. They only have to go 22 yards to get a touchdown. So let's see if they can take the lead. 3. Oh, they can't do anything. But they do get 3 yards. That's to the 19. They're in field goal range. Going to kick another field goal. And Miami stiffening up. So that's a 52. It was a 52. And that's going to be a field goal. And that will be 3 points in the second half. Makes the score 10-9. And Miami with a nice defensive response there. 10-9 is our score. Let's see if we get into a run of TDs. Seems to be happening in the second half a lot. Games that I've been playing. So at the 25, see if there's a kick return for touchdown. There's not. So Miami's going to take over on their 7th possession, and they are up 10-9, the slimmest of leads. They've got to go 75 yards. 13, 15, 23, 33, 42, 51, 56, 60, getting close, 67, and 76. So Miami goes 75 yards for a touchdown, and that's going to increase the lead to 14. That should be 17. Okay. 17-9 is our score. And good drive by Miami as they push down the field. And it's going to be Notre Dame with their 8th drive now. Only the 8th, 9th, and 10th drives left. They still have a shot. They're going to have to make some stops and do some scoring here. Let's see what they've got in them. This is Notre Dame at Miami, 1988. And is there a return for a touchdown? I'm waiting for Ishmael, the Rocket, to take one back. And he hasn't so far. So it's going to be 75 to go. That's a 10, 16, 20, 22, 20, 30, 34, 41, 44, 46, 53, getting close, 58, 68, only 7 yards left. And that's going to be a score for Notre Dame as they go 75 for the TD. And like I said, sometimes I get into these scoring runs, and that's going to bring the score to 17-16, and very close now. Heading into the last 2 drives of the game. Last 3 for Miami. Let's see if Notre Dame has a stop in them. So an exciting little ultra fast play game. Maybe 15, 20 minutes to play. I'm talking through a lot of it. If you just want to shuffle once, that will cut down the time as well. Here is the return for touchdown. No return for touchdown. Miami's got to go 75 yards. 3. And they get a big stop from Notre Dame. So 3 yards. And we're going to get a punt here. The punt is for 53. So excellent punt from Miami. And 53 yards down the field, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 1, 2, 3, down to the 19-yard line. Is there a return for touchdown? That would be huge, and don't get it. So let's get our shuffle here on. This is going to be Notre Dame. They've got 2 drives left. They're down by 1, 17-16 in Miami. Just got a big stop on the Hurricanes, but the Hurricanes came away with a huge punt to flip the field. So Notre Dame's got to go the long way, 81 yards for a touchdown. This will be drive number 9. And let's see if they've got 81 yards in them. 9. Oh my gosh, it's a turnover. Could be the game there, as they turn it over deep in their own territory at the 28-yard line. And Miami's going to take over on their next to last drive. So they have 2 drives left. They start at the 28, and let's see if Notre Dame can hold. Sometimes you just get that one flip and it's an ace, but already they're inside of field goal territory. So opportunity to still extend the lead, even if they can't take the ball all the way into the end zone. Okay, 28 is what they got to have for a touchdown. 7, 15, 21, 25, and that's going to be 31. That's a score for Miami as they take it in from 28 yards. The drive results in a touchdown, and that's a 24-16 lead. Notre Dame has 1 scoring possession left. And let's see, they're down by 8. Maybe there's a way to do a 2-point conversion. I've thought about at the very end of the game, if the game is still, they're still within 1 score, to just roll a 100 and see if they could tie it up. I don't know. There's all kinds of fun things you could do. Let's see. This is a great time for a kick return for a touchdown. That's a 1 and a 4, so not going to happen. So they've got to go 75 yards for a score. All right, let's see if they got it. Oh my gosh, they don't. All right, so Miami's going to win this one. Let's go ahead and punt anyway and just run out the game, because you're trying to get to a final score here. So the punt would be a 44-yard punt, decent. And that's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to the 31. Is there a return for a touchdown? There is not, as that's a 96. And let's see if Miami scores on their last one. We're sort of trying to get to a final score here. So Miami with the final drive of the game. They're going to start at their own 31. So they've got to go 69 yards for a touchdown. This game was actually a little bit more. I think it's 31, 21, something like that. I'd have to look back at the actual score. But Miami did win the game. So 4 yards and a stop. So that's going to be the final. No need to punt or do anything there. So our final here is 24-16. Good one. That is Miami at Notre Dame. This is 1988. And this is a fun little quick play game. You can play it yourself. Just need a deck of cards. I've been putting 3 aces in there. If you want more of a defensive game, you can put 4 aces. And I have a king as a turnover. You want more turnovers, put another king in there. And then you got yourself a game. You need a little way to keep track of the down and distance and how far they have to go for a touchdown. You just need a little basic score sheet. Each team gets 10 possessions, and I have a D6 and 2 D10s that I'm using for the kicking game. So super basic, but kind of fun if you wanted to try go through a season with just a quick play kind of thing. There are no distinctions or differentiations between the teams, but you could just as easily remove aces or add aces if one team is significantly stronger than the other as far as on offense or defense. And also something I've thought about. All right. Hopefully this is a fun watch, and you want to see more of it, leave a comment down in the description. This is a game I would actually play. I don't play a lot of tabletop games, but this is a game that I would sit down for 20 minutes and play. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next